alaikum to everybody. And tomorrow it is, I think, Eid. So Eid Mubarak in advance. And after that, we are going to have Ganpati, Dasara, Diwali, and all those. So in advance, you know, and Dasara Mubarak, Ganpati Mubarak, and Diwali Mubarak. So I'm very, very excited to be here today. And I'm very, very thankful that you all are sitting in the program. 790 29 participants. I can see Ajay sir, I can see Damodaran, and I can see many others like Prasanna, Odalesh, Ganesh, Nandakumari, and the list is endless. So I would not be in a position to take all the names, 729, all of you. So once again, namaskaram. Uh, and very happy to. I was very excited to hear Ajay sir in the morning, and his session was a simply superb session, and the kind of insights he gave again are, I've been listening to him for more than 20 years now. Every time I listen to him, I hear him, he comes up with brilliant new inputs, and he makes the insurance selling so simple. And it was a wonderful talk, Ajay sir. And after that, wow, what a performance by Sir Mr. Satoskar. Hats off to you, sir. The ease with which you spoke, the conviction with which you spoke, the beauty with which you spoke, it was a heart to heart talk, just like Damodaran has said. You want to say something, Ajay sir? Yeah, I could not unmute you, Damodaran, if you can. Yeah, sorry. Yes, sir. Ajay sir, you want
It
to say
was it
something?
was a wonderful session by Rajesh. So
Absolutely.
amazing session by Rajesh.
Amazing session. I have heard Rajesh Satoskar so many times speaking in Hindi. I've been hearing him for the first time in English, but he was so nice, so cool, and he conveyed the message such a brilliant way. And my hats off to you, Rajesh Satoskar. And I'm very, very excited that I could hear two great speakers today. And more than that, I have Mr. R.K. Shetty, one of the greatest speakers, once again to follow me. So I'm in the middle of the program and very, very excited. So today's subject, once again, I will just like to share my screen with you. The subject that I'm being given is this one. The best time for insurance is now. The best time for insurance is now is the subject that I've been chosen for. And actually, I wouldn't say that it is best time for insurance. I would say best time for insurance agent is now. That means this is the best time for all of you. I'm not in a position to see most of you. Damodaran, I'm the only one I'm in a position to see. If you can, yeah, I have the control now. Yes, yes. So a few people, if I can see on the screen, I can have a feeling that yes, I have audience in front of me. Actually, it is, I mean, best time for insurance is not now. Best time for insurance agents is not now. I feel the best time for, I would redefine, LIC agent is now. So you all are LIC agents. I'm very excited, happy that it is the best time for you. Why is it best time for you, and how can you make it really best time and outstanding time for yourself is the subject that I'm going to be talking about. So the small introduction, that in this introduction I would be speaking about the question that people have in mind. One of the greatest question that people have after the lockdown number 4, in the middle of the lockdown number 4, I think by 1st of June, the lockdown would end. The next question is, what next? Now what? Would there be a lockdown number 5, or would there be a economy opening up? Or would there be relaxation? Would there be train travels? Would there be bus travels? Would there be metro travel? Would there be local train travels? These are the questions that people have in mind. And actually, not being a political leader, we don't have any answer, clear-cut answer. But whatever happens next, just like the last 2-3 months, we should be ready for everything. So now what? And then comes what next? The airlines have started, but just today morning I came to know that Bombay and Chennai, I think Bombay has not allowed, the state government has not allowed the airline operations, and there is confusion. There is so much of politics over there. I mean, when the trains can fly, why flights cannot fly is a question that I'm not in a position to understand. But that is, they would be having their own logics for not allowing flights, and I may not have that knowledge. So the third thing is, who is next? So who is going to be the next victim of coronavirus? Who would be the next guy who would have been infected in coronavirus? In the kind of questions and the kind of figures that we are having, we are being shown on the TV, and there is a question that, are they real figures? Yeah, the kind of figures that we have been witnessing in the hospitals, and the kind of messages that we have been seeing, and the kind of deaths that happening. uh, are they really, are we in a position to really get the right information, or scrutinized information, or misinformation is something that we are actually not aware. There is also a debate nowadays, and this debate is about whether the lockdown was necessary at all, in the first place. you know um, because despite of the fact that across the world more than 3.5 lakh people have died, and despite the fact that more than 60 lakh 55 lakh people are been infected with coronavirus, you know the experts are talking about. Yesterday, I received a message from one of my greatest friend, greatest development officer, a wisdom genius, Mr. Anil Jha, and this article was questioning about was there another way to deal with this coronavirus situation. So they were talking about a situation wherein if India would not have been at all gone into the lockdown, there could possibly have been a 1 to 8 lakh deaths, but that would have saved the economy. We should have definitely been in a position to be much ahead of the entire world. But 2 months before or 3 months back, this was not the kind of wisdom, or this was not the kind of debate one was doing. So we are actually not aware of what is happening. Now, the debates is continuing. Could we have done something different or something else? Or could there have been a different strategy altogether? And are we moving in the right direction? These are the questions still unanswered. But year from now, we will really come to know whether whatever our country has done, our government has done, and we are been doing, and the kind of action that we are been doing, taking, and the way we are locked inside, whether it is a right move or not, is something that we will only come to know after 6 months or 1 year or 2 years, once everything becomes clear, because this is an internet world and digital world. So the world is confused about the coronavirus status, and no one actually knows what is right and what is wrong. The WHO is equally confused. The American government is equally confused. The Chinese government is equally confused, and the Indian government is equally confused. And so are you, and so and me. Now, more people are dying than usual. This is a fact. This is a fact because I am been getting informations from friends who are very close friends of mine, that all the crematoriums across the world, especially in Bombay, are overloaded with bodies. And this is the confirmed news, which means the number of deaths are not usual. They are much more than usual. So I just recently came to know, because that the electric machine, crematorium machine in Shivaji Park, which is in Bombay, has broken down due to overload of work. And they have said that, the machine will not be operational for 15 days. And, the replacement and the repair is going to take minimum 7 days. And there will be trials after that. And they will slowly start so that, the overload doesn't cause another damage of the machine again. So that is the way the situation is. And also the grave diggers are finding it impossible to cope up with the job at hand. The number of people who are involved into digging graves, and they are not at all in a position to cope up with this. The number of the requirement that they used to have in the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years was different, and the kind of requirement that they're having now is absolutely different. The numbers have gone by more than 4 to 5 times, and they are not in a position to cope up. All these things are showing, indicating towards one thing, that the number of deaths are not normal. More and more people are realizing, therefore, the importance of uncertainty, planning for uncertainty now. So, earlier days, whenever an LIC agent used to approach a customer, there was a kind of reluctance to talk to him. Right now, that is not there anymore. LIC agent suddenly has become the prime property. And whenever an LIC agent is talking, if you have spoken to any customer, you must have noticed that the customer's response has attitudinally changed. He's smiling now, he's willing to talk to you now, he's willing to consider talking to you now. And the way they used to avoid earlier is not the way they are avoiding anymore. Possibly they must be avoiding a mutual fund agent, they must be avoiding some other kind business agent, but they are not avoiding LIC agents anymore. Now, a few trends that I've been following now are the kind of trends that is going to make sure, help us understand where LIC is positioned now. First trend: real estate uh, investors are trapped, as they cannot liquidate their funds at their funds at this hour. All the people who ever have invested lots of money in real estate. So one of my friend who has invested around 60 crore rupees in real estate projects, 6 to 7 different. He was actually an investor. He was not a businessman who used to build plots or something. He has invested 60 crores, and he is not been in a position to get a single penny out of it. And he says that out of 60 crores I'm writing off minimum 20 crores, and out of the remaining 40 crores I am not sure whether I would be in a position to recover the 40 crores in the next 4 years also. So that is the way he is looking at. He may not lose all the 60 crores, he may not lose all the 40 crores. Definitely he's thinking about, writing off 20 crores. So 33% margin for a person who is 60 crore. And that is the case with not only this investor, but all the people who ever have invested in real estate. Equity investors are suffering huge losses now. So a couple of friends of mine who used to show me their, regularly their portfolios regularly, those who used to have 3 crores in their portfolio, their NAV used to show 3 crores, 3.2 crores, 3.1 crores on a daily basis. Suddenly that is showing around, 2.9 and 2.10. So there is a 1 crore cut, again 30% cut in their NAV. And under these circumstances, they are saying we cannot simply liquidate investment at this loss. I will have to wait until the market becomes all right. And I really don't know whether the market will become all right this year or next year or 2 years later or 3 years later. And I have to simply keep quiet, and my investment is dead investment for the time being. It is not going to be of any use, is what the real estate investors are telling. I mean, equity investors are telling. All mutual fund investors are trapped as their friends are performing below 30 to 60% of their value. Just now Rajesh Tagore was speaking, and he said his NAV, after being investing in mutual fund for so many years, is showing 20% negative returns as of now. And prior to that, Ajay sir was also explaining us that most of the real estate, MFs are underperforming. And he was also mentioning the names of, I believe, Franklin Templeton, and he was also talking about some other funds. Now, these were the kind of debt funds. And all the years, the mutual fund companies kept on telling us that debt funds are the easiest funds. They are the safest funds. You are going to continuously get returns. Don't worry, don't worry. And the debt funds are not performing appropriately now. Most of the people who invested in mutual funds are not in a position to recover. They are suffering 30 to 60% losses. So mutual funds, so real estate is gone, and equity is gone, and mutual funds are gone. All other business investors are suffering losses because of uncertainty beyond imagination. So most of my friends who are businessmen, they used to believe that investing in their own factory, investing in their own investment, investing in their own people, investing in their own business, their office, their interior is the best investment. That was the kind of people, that was the kind of belief that used to have. Suddenly they are finding that investing in business is also, you know, they are suffering huge losses beyond imaginations, and they are not in a position to trust that also. All bank FDs and RD investors suddenly discovered that their interest rates have been reduced from 6% to 4% now, and might reduce further. Just like Ajay sir told in the morning session, now the bank interest rate, the new norm is going to be 4%, and it might even go towards 3% and 2% in the next 5 to 10 years, or even next 1 year also. Even possible that the bank interest rates in India might touch 3% in the next 6 months also, or it might touch 3% in the next 3 months also. But the most important thing that I completely agree with Ajay sir is that we may not again in life see bank interest rates touching 6% and 5%. Forget about 7%, 8%. They are over. Those days are completely gone. I personally believe that we may not see 5% also in bank FD rates. The repo rate, which is become 4% now, is going to become new normal. I completely agree with Ajay sir, and I think that is the way the world is going to look at us. And India cannot afford to increase the FD rates anymore, and that is going to completely adversely affect the economy. Therefore, this is going to be a new norm, which in other words means people who have been believing, depending on bank interest rates, on their entire corpus money invested in one particular FD, and they were surviving on interest, will not be in a position to continue to do so. So This is the fifth category, which means banks cannot afford to give 8%, 7%, 6% kind of returns in the longer run. Also, people are realizing that banks are not secure places anymore. Today, Ajay sir told about the PMC bank and other banks getting closed, and he also explained that he has personally suffered losses and he is not in a position to liquidate that investment. So banks are no more secure places to put their money anymore. Everyone at this present. So I will just show you what I've spoken about. I've spoken about real estate, I've spoken about equity investors, I have spoken about mutual fund investors, I've spoken about business investors, I've spoken about FDRD investors, I've spoken about bank investors. Even gold is not looking to be extremely safe, because you are not in a position to wear gold and show to people, nor are you in a position to trade gold very, very safely, because most of this gold shops are closed nowadays. So therefore, gold is also not equally. So therefore, people are realizing, everyone is realizing that LIC is the best option. The only place where they have invested and they have not been cheated. The only place where people have invested and their NAV has not fallen. Their actual value has not fallen under this pandemic situation, where the entire world has fallen, has been LIC. Only your LIC investment has remained safe. So I say LIC is the best. And I'm proud of all of you for taking this decision to become an LIC agent or a development officer whenever it was. This decision of yours, I think, has been the best. Your trust towards LIC has paid off today. All the mutual fund investors are realizing this. All the real estate investors are realizing this. Gold investors are realizing this. Businessmen are realizing this. FDRD investors are realizing this. And equity investors are realizing this. The entire world is realizing this. Don't worry, Obalesh RKN. You need not take a photograph. If you want, I'm going to send you this, the entire PDF to you. So you can, if you want, you can use it. All the investors are realizing the benefits of investing in LIC now. Uncertainty of life is also something that they are realizing, causing the other kind of panic that making LIC investment even more lucrative. LIC was, always looked up as if it is only an investment. No, LIC has the other benefit that people were always discounting, and that is uncertainty of life, seizing the uncertainty of life. If anything happens to them, LIC is going to give them 200, 300, 1000, 2000, 5000, 10,000, even 20,000% return. Therefore, LIC at present is the most lucrative. Everyone now understands that the LIC is the best option. Customers' approach towards LIC agents have changed suddenly. I just want to know, Ganeshan, if have you spoken to any customers of late? Ganeshan KK. No, he cannot hear me. Obalesh, have you spoken to any customers, Ganeshan, of late? And have you seen that the customers' approach towards LIC agent has suddenly changed favorably for you? Obalesh and Ganeshan, if it is so, just show me a thumbs up, because you are the only two people I can see on the screen. Yeah, you are showing thumbs up, right? So that is what exactly, if you speak to people, most people are open about LIC discussion now, right? Those who invested in LIC are finding it LIC is the safest. Therefore, the time is right for insurance salespeople. The time is right for LIC, and the time is great for LIC agents. And take advantage of this. Okay, so go and meet customers, talk to them over the phone, convince them over the phone. If you are in a position to talk to 10 people, just increase it to 20 or 30 or 40. This kind of a time, favorable time, you may not get in your whole life. The next 3 to 6 months is the best time. You can actually increase your business, not 2 times or 3 times or 4 times or 5 times. You can increase your business and revenue by 10 to 20 to 30 to 50 times. People are willing to buy. I have been receiving calls from several agents across the country, and they are saying that customers are calling them back and they are telling them, can you increase my sum assured? Can you increase my LIC exposure? The customers are calling. If you have that kind of relationship, customers are calling from the front and they're requesting agents to increase. And those agents who have been talking to customers in a sensible way, they are in a position to sell insurance policies in the easiest way now. And they are saying that it was never so easy in my life to sell insurance before. But the customers will not allow you to come inside their homes now. Now, this is something that you need to realize. They will be willing to buy insurance policy. They would be willing to invest in your Jeevan Shanti or whatever, the latest policies, or Jeevan, I may not have the greatest knowledge about your Jeevan Laksha or Jeevan Labha or whatever policies Ajay sir were talking about. But the customers will be willing to buy insurance. They will not or may not actually allow you to come inside their homes because of the risk involved in infection kind of it. But they will be willing to buy from you if you can sell online. I again repeat, if the customers will be willing to buy from you if you can sell online, if you can sell over the mobile phone, if you can sell over the phone, or if you can sell over the laptop, if you can sell over WhatsApp video call, or if you can sell. Therefore, it is important for you to develop the ability to sell over the phone. Developing the abilities in the sense, most people do not believe that selling over the phone is possible. And therefore, they are not getting started. This is problem number one. Number two, most people do not know that, number one, they do not believe. Number two is they don't know that selling over the phone is easier than meeting personally. I'm training LIC agents for how many? More than almost 20 years now. And my average that I understand about agent is, an average agent is not in a position to do more than 2 calls per day. Practically going and meeting customers and explaining them and understanding, at an average agent is in a position to do average of 2 calls. The greatest agents like Bharat Parekh may not be even positioned to do 5 calls a day. Right? So therefore, it is important when you do the phone calls or selling over the video call, you can actually do 20 calls every day. Practically do 20 calls every day. Physically, you may not be in a position to do even 5 calls every day. So practically 20 calls every day is practically 500 calls a month, which means you can increase your business success turnover by 20 times. Therefore, it is important for you to develop the ability to sell over phone. What you need to realize is ability to sell over phone requires different skills and mindset than ability to sell physically with the customer. Most of the agents have ability to sell physically. Now, you need to completely transform yourself from physical selling to digital selling. Physical selling to digital selling. In physical selling to digital selling, the biggest transformation has got to happen over the head. And after that, the biggest transformation has got to happen over your presentation. And actually speaking, there are 3S requirements for selling digitally on WhatsApp call or WhatsApp video call or over the phone. 3S requirements. And first requirements is to have website or a software, actually software, right? Second requirement is called studio. And the third requirement is called selling skills. Okay, so in selling skills, I would say video selling skills, not physical selling skills. It can be called digital selling skills. So first requirement, as I think all of you are ready with that. Otherwise, I think you may not be attending this program. I believe the greatest greatest software ever developed for insurance salespeople has been developed by, Ajay sir, and that is Datacom. There has never been a better software company than this, and they are the pioneers. They are the best. They have done greatest understanding, greatest research, and they have put best of their efforts and made the software available at the easiest and the smallest price. Therefore, Datacom's Visual Magic Pro is the best. And today also he was talking about some new features added to that. Tomorrow and after, he's going to come up with new features that you can download and start using. So that is the best. You already have that. But for the future, in order to sell digitally, a software like VM Pro may not be sufficient. That is sufficient for physical selling, but that may not be sufficient for digital selling. That because immediately after you meet the customer might try to search for something about you in the website, in the internet. If you do not have a presence on the net, the customer may not consider buying a big policy from you. He might think that you are a smaller agent. Or let us say 2 agents call up the same customer, one with a website and one without a website. The customer would always think about talking to a person with the website, right? I've been receiving the ECR magic letters from Mr. RK Shetty regularly for the last 10 years now, right? Because he is an ECR magic customer. Every week, every month, I receive a update automatically. It's not that RK Shetty sends. That's something that I know, but customers may not know that. Therefore, a website is extremely important thing. Second thing that you need to have. So the first thing is ECR Magic, Datacom Visual Magic Pro. You already have. You must have the website like ECR Magic immediately. And I don't want to emphasize more on that because I don't want you to start feeling that I'm attempting to sell you something. I'm just attempting to make you ready for selling 15 to 20 policies on a daily basis in the next 3 to 6 months, and on 20 to 100 times more money than you actually make otherwise. This is the greatest time for LIC agents. I want you to believe that. So this is, one illustrations I just thought I will just tell you that carpenter should not say a hammer is not necessary, right? If a carpenter is going to a customer's place to do some repair job or some work, if he has an attitude saying that no, hammer is not necessary, how would he put the nail? Would he use the hand? Would he use his head? And what would happen to the head? What would happen to the head? Therefore, a hammer is never an expensive item or unnecessary item for a carpenter. Similarly, an ECR Magic at this hour is an extremely important necessity for all of you. I would just put that subject to rest now. The second thing is, therefore, I would say you must have an ECR Magic website. ECR Magic website, because otherwise, the same kind of a website you might have to spend 20, 30, 40, 50 times. I have seen that people have spent close to 8 to 10 lakh rupees and were not in a position to come, in comparison with the website that is available to you at ECR Magic cost. The second thing, this is even more exciting, is second most important, create your home studio, right? Now, this is where the significance. Ultimately, you need to understand that the customer is going to see you, listen to you, and decide about buying. Therefore, it is extremely important for the customer to, see you clearly, right? In order to have that, you need to have a, studio. Now, I have created a small studio for myself, right? And this is something that I can probably present myself because my visuals are evidence. Of course, there is a bookshelf behind. In my previous program, I did not keep the bookshelf. I had a curtain. I have got minimum 10 different places in my place where I can sit. But I could create 10 different places for presentation because of a concept called 3-point lighting. I would like all of you just to as many of you as possible, just switch on your videos for at least 2 to 3 minutes. And if you look at your videos for 2 to 3 minutes, you will find that there is a great difference between your video and my video. I want all of you to do that, right? Just look at your video and look at my video. You will definitely find the difference. Yeah. And what is the difference? The difference is that my face is glowing and your face may not be. Both the sides of my face are clearly visible. It may not be so with you. Yeah, can you notice that? Right? Why is that? I'll just like to explain you. Why is it so? Because I have used something called the 3-point lighting. Yeah. Now that is the subject. All of you, if you have the 3-point lighting, you would be in a position to create something like this. So what is a 3-point lighting? A 3-point lighting means wherever you're sitting, on you, you would ensure that the light is falling on you from 3 different directions. So at present, the light is on me from 3 different directions. Okay. Now I'm just going to put off the lights for a minute so that you understand what 3-point lighting means. Okay. So I'm just switching off the right side light. Now this is how it looks when I switch off this light. I would also switch off my left side light. Then you will understand how does it look. Put the curtain also. Now this is the light most people use it. right? Here also I have actually these lights also I would like you to, there are actually three lights on the ceiling. If you can just put this off. Yeah. Now this is how most people look on the video. When you're attempting to sell something, you cannot look like this. You cannot afford to look like this. You have to improve your visibility. Apart from your speech, apart from your content, apart from your website, apart from everything else, you have to improve your visibility. And that visibility can improve by improving, doing small things called 3-point lighting. So I'm just putting on the upper light. You will see the difference. Now this is the difference the moment I put. Now there is only one side light, it is improved now. I'm going to switch on the second light. You will see the difference. This is the second side. Okay. Now this is also not the main light. This is the secondary light. The main light on me is this one, the primary light. This is called the primary light. Okay. Just now I showed. Now, if you see now, this is called 3-point lighting. When you are on 3-point lighting, you would look complete. Okay. You go to any studio in the country and any studio in the world, they would follow a 3-point lighting system, right? So this is something that you need to learn about video selling. Video selling does not mean, I was just viewing Ajay sir's that video, and that's a beautiful video, but that is too basic. In order to sell, you have to follow all the 20 rules that Ajay sir spoke about or showed that in that video. But that is just too basic. In order to be sufficiently experienced or, be in a position to generate business, you should be in a position to create a small studio. Acha, by the way, how much of money do you think is it going to cost you for creating a 3-point lighting on yourself? Not even 2,000 rupees. The kind of lighting that I have created on myself is not even 2,000 rupees. Normal basic lights placed in the right place so that you look professional. I hope, this particular section of mine made some sense to you. If you look better, you would be
Sorry
in
to
a
interrupt,
position
sir.
to
5 more
sell
minutes,
better.
please.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry to
So,
interrupt. 5 more minutes, please.
yeah. I'm just, my time is 5 more minutes. That's what you're saying?
Yeah. Yes.
So the second subject is called which light and, camera position. That is those things, it has to be at least 2 feet away from you, and audio, and which place in the sense, what kind of a background you can have, a books background, or there is something called a green background or a chroma background. All these things you can use. So actually, I'm doing a training program for basic general public, not only insurance agents, for the entire world. And that program is called the video selling program. So for basics of video selling, number one is prepare well, keep all your questions ready, keep all your materials ready, keep all your props ready, and keep your registers and pen ready, and start on time, finish on time, engage in a conversation is more important. Do conclusion summary at the end, and open gates for follow-up and options. So there is a program, the training program that is coming, which is called Learn Video Selling. And this is for general public. You can recommend all your friends and businessmen and customers to come and attend this program. This is on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 June on Zoom platform. This course fee is 5,000 rupees, and the course fee is $100. You can recommend your friends from across the country, and it's in the evening, 5 to 6:15 p.m. in English, 7 to 8:15 p.m. in Hindi. Just come to the third point. Insurance salespeople practice insurance selling in 4 different levels. Okay, and this is what my guru Santosh Nair taught me, and he said salespeople across the world practice selling in 4 different levels. And the 4 different levels are: number one, begging; number two, telling; number three, selling; and number four, educating. Okay, begging, going and asking people to give a policy is called begging. Telling is going and telling people about a Jivan Anand or a Jivan Labh or a Jivan Laksha is telling. Selling is asking people hundreds of 20, 30 questions and making the customer understand, preparing a visual magic pro presentation and explaining him the benefits is selling. And educating is something where you go and educate the customer about the purpose of buying insurance, so that his life is secured, his family is secured, and things like that. When you do begging style, you get between 2 to 5% results. Okay, 5% of people buy. When you do telling, you get 5 to 20% success. And when you do selling, you get 20 to 50% success. And when you do educating, You don't get 50 to 100%. You actually get 50 to 5,000% success. That means when you educate people, more and more number of customers are going to buy from you. Just now Damodaran suddenly said that there is only 5% to 5 minutes left, and there is hardly 2 minutes left now. So I actually wanted to show you a lot of things today, but that's okay. Some other day, some other time, we would be in a position to expose you to all the tools that I created for selling insurance agents. This is a tool, and this is another tool, and this is another tool. And these things, just talking about these things may not be a good idea at present, but I would just sum up by saying that I'm coming up with a training program for insurance agent, all of you, on this month, 27, 28, 29, 30th, and 31st. And this program is going to be in English at 5 p.m. to 6:15, and in Hindi, it's between 7 p.m. to 8:15 p.m. And in that program, it's a 5-day program for 1 hour each and 15 minutes of question answer. And I have already done this program many times. Most of the agents have been successful and selling from home after attending this program. I believe this particular program would be in a position to give you all the insights required to sell effectively from home. So thank you very much, Damodaran. Thank you very much, Ajay sir, for the opportunity. And I'm Mr. Rajesh Tagore for a great speech. And I would look forward to